Hey there, this is Dolphin, and that is you. Not a gameplay video this time. I just wanted to mention something that pains me. Imagine there's a new ship concept sale. Exciting thing, you know? Every few weeks a new ship. I'm always curious about it. So the concept sale page is up, like this here. And then I would think the obvious thing to do is read all the information, look at the pictures, scroll through, read this here, then okay, here are 2 packs, here are the costs for them, value added tax included, here's a brochure that you can look at or download, more images, plenty of images, and oh, here they're offering combo packs with some other ships that are not normally on sale, mostly. New component category, mentioning here stuff, and the tech page. Okay, 3 S9 torpedoes and 2 S2 size guns, stuff, S1 shields, okay, and the holo viewer where you can view the model. And then sometimes, so what really bothers me is the questions that come up here in the comment sections. There are some, one thing that is, I call it the gun denial. That also bothered me when the Prospector, the mining ship, was on sale and people said, why no guns? I kept hearing, why no guns, why no guns? Look at the pictures, look at the stats page, look at practically every bit of information, concept drawings, and there were guns, you know? Look, read. People don't do this for some reason. So here's a thread that they made for Q&A, you know, questions, post them. So I post 1 question at a time, 1 reply. Otherwise the voting will be skewed because you are upvoting the questions then, so they know which one to include in their Q&A. Post as many questions as you like, but 1 per response. Only post replies to the OP here. So nested, they will sort based on popularity and they don't want a discussion in here, you know, but you are supposed to upvote the questions based on whether you think they are valid. So, and then just I went through this here and it was like most of those questions, sorry, I have to say, they're crap. So I will comment to you what bothers me about what always happens with the community, with the Star Citizen community when the concept sale is up and so many other cases. I mean, I know that some people are not that informed, but if you're interested in the ship, read before asking questions, you know. It's so much easier. You don't have to wait for a response. You don't have to write the question, hope it will be upvoted, hope it will be included in the Q&A and answered there. If you can just read the material provided. So here it begins, the oldest first. Why did the Eclipse get such a classic shape, not something innovative? Well, you know, they could say, but it's exciting. You got the B2 bomber style, you got some holes in here and planks, you know, some interesting design here. So I would say in detail, it is quite unique, but they wanted to do a kind of a B2 bomber homage, stealth bomber. And they said, you know, ships of one manufacturer look more or less the same. Or they have style elements that they share, you know. So, yeah, more or less this was to be expected. And but it's a valid question. Maybe, you know, they can talk about this a little bit. So the question is okay. It depends on your interpretation. How many crew will the Eclipse support? Read the stats page. It says 1 crew, 1 pilot. I mean, really, why are they asking this? Look, max crew, 1 person. Look at the pictures. Do you see a 2-people cockpit? Do you see anything else? Here, look, there's a cockpit picture. Pilot. Here's a very good picture. 1 seat. Pilot. Why do people ask? Still ask. How many crew will the Eclipse support? What? From the ship sale page. Oh, someone refers to the page. Good. Advanced hull system, capable environment, thanks to my wing configurations. Based on this pictures, it's correct to assume the wings will have multiple fold points. You see in the pictures that they have multiple fold points. Here, this part and this part folded up. Here is one. Okay, you could assume maybe it looks like two, but this is one segment, Okay, this is a detail they want to know. Maybe these fold up in the atmosphere. Valid question, okay. $330 flight ready tag is quite expensive. Single person ship, little detail, value ship. Why is it so expensive? What about the glaive? Expensive too, fancy alien ship. The answer is already there, Exclusive ships, they are rare. They don't want so many in the universe. They don't want it to be a bread and butter ship. So yeah, and pledge price is not necessarily the same as in-game price once you can buy it there. So the question is, will it fit inside the hangar on my Idris? The Idris is a really big ship, one of the bigger ships with a hangar. And again, they mentioned it in the stats. It can fold up wings so that it can compact. For space saving, they specifically said, look at the size of the ship, compare it, not that much bigger than a Saber, and it folds up the wingtips so it is more compact. That should answer the question, I mean, some are more borderline. They're asking, will it fit in the Polaris hangar, But compare, look at the Polaris pictures. How big is whatever fighter they have in there? Pretty sure they want it to fit in there. The stuff that you can figure out by yourself. But if you're lacking time, like if you want to know exactly, I want to have, that I can count on. You never can count on that. But, with a little faith, of course they would want it to fit. But yeah, borderline. What kind of quantum jumping range can we accept from the ship? Well, they don't differ that much anyway, but kind of valid question. Those are all range questions, more specific details. They are all valid. Can the Eclipse bomb both air to air and air to ground? Yeah, it was mentioned in the material provided that it can also bomb ground targets. So yeah, once there are ground targets, why not lock onto them? If you're supposed to, you can. This is not a specific Eclipse question. That's the basic gameplay question. Do the wingtips fall down, or is the ship intended to fly with the wings up like in the reveal image? Look like this would be a carrier-based ship. The wings falling up might be a thing. Of course, as they said, to save space. Fly with the wings up, like in the reveal images. Fly with the wings up, like in the reveal. Oh, the first reveal. Yeah, you can just look at all the others. Here, it landed, wings up, flying, wings down, flying, wings down. Landed, wings up. More, landed, wings up, flying, wings down. This is what I mean. Does the Eclipse, and has it historically, have cross-functionality as an information gatherer due to its stealth armor in addition to its bombing functionality, or does it have more focused role? It's a stealth bomber with a torpedo bay. This is basically, sometimes people post questions. That happens a lot, Like, I want this to be an information gatherer. No, it is totally not. It's designed as a stealth bomber. You got the Herald for information gathering, Or if you want this somewhat stealthy, maybe minimally stealthy, you got the Terrapin. That is tries to stay low profile and with a strong radar. Will there be any civilian companies looking to retrofit this military craft torpedo ports allowing for stealth cargo running? You could say an absurd question, but okay. Probably not, I mean, the Retaliator can do it, but that's a different thing. This is a very specialized ship. This is another borderline. It's a bit of a request. Someone says, I would like to carry cargo with this ship. Although I think stealth capabilities, this is for Alpha Strike, is probably not that useful. For cargo, you want to be inconspicuous in general and have a shielded cargo hold or something like that, But okay, borderline. I understand that this is probably not a dogfighter. Yeah, 2 S2 guns mentioned just for defense. It is mentioned you go in there and shoot and have a little defense. But again, descriptions. But is 2 times fixed ballistic S2 really going to hurt anything significant? No, it's for defense minimum. Because if this ship had no guns at all, it would be extremely specialized, like you fire your torpedoes and then you're completely defenseless. Cannot even scare anybody with a warning shot. That's not fun. It's the equivalent of an M50 loadout, which is largely considered irrelevant by the community, by the part of a community that is just complaining all the time. The M50 is a small, very nimble, very quick, full racing interceptor with 2 S2 guns that is appropriate, that is balancing. The people who say, like, if you don't have 4 S3 at least, this ship is pointless. Ships have different roles. The M50 is not supposed to go... It can go toe-to-toe with a Super Hornet, but it will need a very different playing style. So yeah, this is all the thinking of like 1 versus 1, you know. I want, you know, EPing, not honoring the different roles that ships have. That's probably coming from an idea that if I fly an Eclipse stealth bomber, if I cannot... defeat a Super Hornet in 1-on-1, this ship is underpowered or something like that, you know? It's a stealth bomber. Yeah, I have to respectfully disagree. Does come stock. Yeah, people shouldn't. It's tempting to respond here because of so many stupid questions. But I'm not doing this because, to keep it tidy, you see they're getting deleted anywhere. That's not the point. What is the function of those extra extended wingtips? They seem extraneous. Practically, does it mean adjust to extra thrusters? It's styling, you know, to look cool, I guess, and fold up. This, if you are with the game a while, you understand that it needs this shape to look cool, and it's always fancy stuff, you know, when stuff is moving. Landing gear is attached to the little wing flaps. If you lose a wingtip, you can't land. That's a general gameplay question. In so many ships have landing gear that can be shot off in theory. So yeah, general gameplay question. How many Eclipse will it take to take down, say, an 890 jump Polaris or Nitrous? Yeah, this was deleted, but what the guy used to respond here, 1 to 500, depending on the stupidity of the pilot. Spot on. You know, this, what kind of a question is that? How many Eclipses will it take down? You know, like, are they card players? I'm wondering something. Are they trading card players? Like, okay, I have +4, and here I have a card with +2, and one with +1, but there is a bonus on it. Will it mathematically be equal? Will they have the guaranteed mathematical advantage? Which is its range? Simple, good question, you know? Range question. General, what's the intended role? Range. Good question. With the flight-ready price of $330 as mentioned, does that mean the Tully will go up in price as well? That's a Tully question, I guess, or the general question how to balance these ships. It does not, again, pledge prices do not equate in-game value. It's a bit of a marketing political thing. And again, you know, the Eclipse has an advantage over the Retaliator, and the Retaliator has an advantage over the Eclipse. Stealth technologies and tools in the game will use the same game mechanic or different types, and if so, what type on the Eclipse? I don't even know what exactly he means, and that's a general, semi-general gameplay questions. Marshy. Can we change those fixed guns to other guns or given combinations, seeing how they recede into the ship? Valid question, although you can answer it for yourself, because you have, on the Saber, you have guns moving into position, guns moving when there's not a specific reason shown against it. Of course, you have a compartment and a gun. Why should you not mount a different there that recedes, you know? So you could figure out, it's pretty sure you can mount any gun you want there, that it's not hard-coded to be a Gatling ballistic. But yeah, he wants to be sure, I guess. It's a valid question, considering how few there are that are valid. In the brochure, it mentions that the wingtips fold. The picture doesn't look like they're folded in all the way. Yeah, that's, again, the two-part thing. Isn't S9 torpedoes and fighters considered game breaking? Game breaking, you know, like one ship S9 torpedoes, the whole game, nothing works anymore, total ownage. When the Polaris can cap it, the ship carries S10 and Retaliators S5. Retaliators carry S9. It happens a lot too. People exactly know something for a fact, just that it's wrong. And they could easily check. This is definitely a mistake, as I cannot imagine 21-meter ship being able to carry an S5, let alone S9. The Gladiator carries an S5, so that's that. And if you specialize, the ship is quite long. Do some comparing. Yeah, it will fit. Can you please clarify the Eclipse current actual hardpoints and torpedo size with respect to what's carried by the current existing bombers Gladiator? It's, well, the stats page, you don't have to absolutely trust them, but they say 3 S9 torpedoes, so I guess that's that. Okay, please explain to us what the developers intend stealth to be within Stars and News. Does the Saber, Ground Officer share the same stealth capabilities the Eclipse? Okay, that's a bit of general gameplay, but a bit of comparative, you know. Kind of valid, I guess. Yeah, Sir Berticos, rules don't apply to him. He likes to break the rules all the time. Bullet point. Please update the Gladiator and Harbinger torpedo size before I decide to buy an Eclipse. So that's a request. And someone quoted his original, this was edited. He had 5 requests, all in bullet points here. So double rule violation. It's just, what's the point, you know? Are there other full mil-spec offerings in the pipe, or is this a one-off offering? That's not Eclipse related, and how is this relevant, whether there are other mil-spec ships? That would be a question to ask on the forums, on a regular spectrum. Will it be able to dogfight, like how the Gladiator can still dogfight to a degree? Well, I guess it depends on how you're using 2 sides, 2 guns, right? Will the Eclipse be able to fit in the hangar of a Polaris? Yeah, the hangar fitting. More limit to bigger, semi-valid question. You can figure out yourself, but valid if you have little time, you know, to have them asked them. I would just predict that it will fit in the Polaris and Javelin it is intended to, and that's why the wings fold up. Can you elaborate on what we might be bombing in atmosphere? That's a general gameplay thing again. What do you expect? Whatever is there. Buildings, landed ships, whatever the mission requires. Will the Eclipse torpedo bay be modular so that the ship can be used for other purposes such as electronic warfare? What is with people and fitting a stealth bomber to an E-war platform? If you want E-war, use the Vanguard. The nice thing is you have conversion kits for the Vanguard. You can get the bomber version and then switch it to a E-war. Perfect. So that's the reason why you would have a Vanguard and why Vanguard owners won't protest now with the Eclipse being published. You know, each has their role, and is also the Eclipse sale is a bit like the Hurricane sale, you know, an Alpha Striker, very vulnerable, get in, shoot, get out, you know, and they do more that to fit niche roles that are still missing, and that way having balancing, not infringing on another ship's core role, not making any ship obsolete. And there are people who are saying the Eclipse now, with so many bombers, Eclipse Gladiator, the Retaliator is appalling and it has no role anymore. Hello, the Retaliator is a freaking big ship, bit bigger than a Constellation, has 5 gun turrets and 6 size 9 torpedoes, and due to its size, heavily armored. How is this made obsolete by the other bombers? By small, you know, stealth and... little faith, you know, if people had more faith. Faith is what powered this project in the beginning and made the funding possible, and not this. What does the Eclipse offer in terms of stealth besides a thin forward cross-section? I don't know. Maybe you could read the stats page about how all the modules are like. What does the Eclipse offer? I just have to refer. What could it possibly offer? There was an info here about the new modules. New component category. With the reveal of the Eclipse, a new category of ship items have been introduced. The stealth component for the Eclipse, the power plant, engines, thrusters, cooler, and shield generator utilizing stealth component. You know, lower IR and EM signature. But what does the Eclipse offer in terms of stealth besides the thin forward cross section? If you had just read the information on the general concept sale page, that would be the answer. Will there be a variety of torpedo types in game? If so, what types are planned or being considered? This is a thing, you know this if you're familiar with the game a little. Torpedo mounts are usually one size. It's not from 2, and that's usually mentioned if it's the case. If you have an S9 torpedo, probably not work like with the missiles, you know, smaller size missiles, more of them. Not that you have mounts, but who knows? it's a kind of a valid question again, I guess. It's a general gameplay question. They should ask that in the forums. Will torpedo mounts work the same way as missile mounts? Please rank weaponry and armor of the Eclipse compared to Gladiator, Retaliator, and Vanguard Harbinger. Weaponry, we know the weaponry. We know the armor because the ship stats page says weak shields and weak armor. And in the stats page directly says size 1 shields. It's not the current system, but yeah, shields and armor are weak. Isn't that enough? You already know how it will balance then. What kind of stealth ability does it have? IR, CS, or EM? Again, read, it is explained, all the modules there. Do you think a power plant might have an infrared and an electromagnetical signature? Or that this is maybe a good cross-section? Is stealth really that effective if it warrants the $275 price tag for this light fighter? It's a bomber, not a fighter. S2 and probably S2 size torpedoes. S2 torpedoes? S2 are missiles. What other roles is ship capable of? Yeah, stealth bombing and stealth bombing and stealth bombing. And yeah, price tag. We know that they can compare the prices of certain ships and realize that the price tag doesn't necessarily reflect the ship price, but more like, I mean, they said the ship price will increase later, you know? So it's a marketing political decision. Which capital ships does it fit in? We already had this. Will there be conversion kits to allow for high yield missile loadouts? I don't think. Missiles instead of, it would probably cripple it. So question. What is its range? Valid. How does this ship not finish the process of rendering Retaliator obsolete? There it is. In other words, what is the designer's intent on the bombing torpedo ships, Gladiator, Retaliator, Polaris, and now Eclipse? How do each of these ships remain relevant in the overall game design? Well, look at those ships and figure it out by yourself. It's quite obvious. What are the expected speed and agility levels of the Eclipse? To a perfectly valid question, you know, general. You know, it has weak armor, but will it be very agile, dodgy, or will it also be kind of sluggish? You know, probably. Yeah, you don't quite know. It looks like a Saber, which is super agile, and Aegis ships are usually very agile, but it's also a bomber carrying heavy torpedoes. I guess at some point they will implement weight calculation in the game, so when you're carrying those torpedoes, the ship will have a higher mass, and that will be considered. That is how detailed the game is going to be. What will the range of the Eclipse be in terms of what is already in game? Yeah, valid. I say that the Eclipse will bring unique stealth components to the game. Will other stealth ships like a Saber and Hornet Ghost be updated to include these stealth components as a specific Eclipse part? Yeah, it was explained. The Hornet Ghost has a stealth armor coating and the Saber is full stealth build. So yeah, at best you could make this question like, is the Eclipse more stealthy than the Saber? Can the Eclipse perform any other roles besides stealth bomber, i.e. stealth food delivery? Okay, that's mostly a joke question, I guess. But yeah, what do you expect from a stealth bomber, highly mil-spec project? Oh, okay. The current stats say the beam measures 25 meters. The measurement with the wings? Okay, measurement, valid. Can Terrapin pick up a trail of an approaching Eclipse, both in their default configuration and in time to warn a nearby fleet? This is so an amazingly specific tactical question. No? How about the Terrapin has a strong radar and the Eclipse has strong stealth, and they kind of neutralize each other, and the rest is gameplay. I mean, come on, seriously. Does the price tag mean that this is meant to be a rare ship, and can you elaborate on what factors determine price for ships in general? This is like the question is already the answer. The price tag is unusually high, you know? Maybe they want to keep it rare? What other reason could there be? Is it correct that the Eclipse is able to carry 3 size 9 torpedoes? So he probably wants to make sure that the ship stats, that's actually kind of valid. He wants to make sure that the ship stats page does not say 3 times S9 simply because they don't have other sizes implemented yet. You know, like we state the closest we have. So yeah, if you don't quite trust the ship stats page, is a valid question, but it says 3 size 9 torpedoes, you know. Some drawings, it's smart. Some drawings show torpedoes that look a bit small. So Valid question. What size will the weapons be? Will they not be swappable because we retract into hull? Yeah, the retraction, again, you can figure out what size will the weapons be. I mean, we could go by the ship stat page and other information that says size 2 ballistic Gatlings, and then we would know what size. What purpose does the Eclipse serve in the civilian market? Can the baby retrofit carrying cargo, data storage module, some other use, or is it a dedicated bomber? Well, the concept says it's a dedicated bomber. And I guess like with other ships, if like the Retaliator was sold with modules, where it said you can put cargo or living space modules in the bomb base. We don't have it with this ship. You know, you can also assume that if they don't include certain things on the concept page, that maybe that's because it is not intended. You know, so you're not intended to fit your stealth mil-spec bomber to become a cargo ship. Why is the announced price in the news so much different after clicking on buying? War bond, $250 sale price in the news and $300 in buy frame. It's a little weird, no? I'm in Germany and it says here $275 and war bond $250. War bond is bought with fresh money, not credit in your, not, you know, from switching. And here it says 270, and you will notice this euro sign, which means it is euro and not dollar. And here's 19% value added tax included. And if you are aware of this, if you have witnessed any previous sale or looked at any prices in the shop, you know, can notice this. So 270 euros is $250 converted to euro plus 19% value added tax. Please provide clarification on the Eclipse place among the bombers. Range, speed, maneuverability, armament, survivability, roll flexibility, jump capability. Okay, that's just, you know, more detail about its special, but yeah, you can figure it out how it's different from a Gladiator. Do the fixed guns fold into the wings? Well, what a good question, you know? To figure that out, you would have to read the ship stats where it says that they fold into the wings. And here you see a gun on the outside, and in other pictures you don't see any guns at all, you know, which suggests that here it's probably in the brochure, you know, like here you have a gun extended. Yeah, but again, this is something you consult the brochure and then you see it was mentioned there. Yes, they do. Read. What makes the ship stealthy, and can any ship install stealth components? Oh, what makes it stealthy? You know, I know because I have secret access to top secret information which tells me special cross-section and stealth components. The pictures show that the Eclipse features an internal torpedo bay. Will the fixed S2 weapons also be able to fully retract? Again, does this ship have a jump drive? Valid question. Probably, for the price, and many ships of that size have. A few ships don't have a jump drive. Mil-spec, but valid question, yeah. Is the Eclipse carrier based? Not sure what that means. Probably whether it can fit in a hangar, whatever. Is the Eclipse used for carrier-based operation with only quantum drive? Does it have jump drive? Operation range, valid. Eclipse look quite wide and tall, landing mode. Will it fit in many carrier bays? Yeah, again, why do you think it folds up its wings? Considering sensitive navy of the ship, will purchase of the ship be limited in game, like by reputation? You mean like you have to have a tidy UEE citizen record, like it is mentioned in the ship page, in the law, you know? Yeah. Does the UEE try to prevent ships like this from falling into pirate hands? Well, if a upstanding civilian citizen owns a ship and pirates steal it, tough luck, but I guess this would be a law question. Yeah, this is a gameplay law question, and like, will the UEE actively pursue pirates who steal this kind of ship? This is not really an Eclipse question specifically. Are the embedded S2 ballistic Gatlings all locked? No swap. Again, we had this. The way Aegis was described in law, sort like a dying company, blah blah. This is an Aegis question, you know? What is the future of Aegis? Safe to say with high-tech CRG making for them has changed. What is Aegis' new role in the modern UE and fleet? This is totally not an Eclipse question. That is a law question. Will there be a BOK, that's a conversion kit, or variant of the Eclipse that turns into a stealth recon ship, possibly with 2 persons instead of 1? Yeah, try to fit a second person in there, right? In the bomb bay like this? It's a request. Dear CIG, I can already tell this is not a valid question. With no other Aegis, why no other Aegis ships? 5 exclamations mark, question mark. You put an Aegis ship up on concept, but don't put any of the other ships currently not available. Yeah, only like this, the Aegis Saber together with the Gladius, and here a bigger pack with the Gladiator which is not available, and the Retaliator Bomber which is not available, and here's the package with the whole range of ships, most of them not available right now. Yeah, so basically they do that. Okay, he probably means, but not rare ships, not limited availability ships right now. Wouldn't it make sense to put Aegis ships on sale alongside it? From a sales point of view, it makes little to no sense to reveal a new ship, but not put the other ones up as well. What? Why not? This is a concept ship sale for the Eclipse. When a car company puts out a new car, they don't hide all the rest. Hell, they tend to showcase others around it. On the post when those ships look sexy. Yeah, but you know, a ship's car company also doesn't have limited availability that they only. This is. If it isn't even the proper comparison. And there is claiming that it makes no sense to not offer other limited ships for sale from Aegis singly. This sounds like, okay, you're having the Eclipse on concept sale, but I want the Saber right now and only the Saber, and you're not selling this, and this is stupid. As some are asking about if this will fit into Polaris Iris, what other ships might it fit in? Questioned that the Banu Defender may fit inside the ever-growing Banu Merchantman. Could this ship also be a possible of fitting Merchantman? They said we don't know. We want to do it, but it is very tricky. We don't know whether the Banu Defender will fit in a Merchantman or maybe dock on it. So you look at the size of the Defender and you look at the size of the Eclipse and your question is answered. Same answer as for the Defender and the Merchantman. Is this seen primarily as an orc combat ship, or will there be bomber targets and missions for a solo player in the Eclipse? This is a gameplay question. So what he's basically asking is, will there be a mission for a single loner stealth bomber pilot to fly to the target mission destination, target that small capital ships and fire 3 size 9 torpedoes and then fly back mostly? Yeah, probably would need, maybe in a team mission, you know. You can just imagine that. Maybe you get a mission where there is a military squadron there and you are needed for bomber support. Why not? But this is a gameplay question. In its default bomber configuration, how effective will the sensors be at picking up a distant target, and possibly what information will you get, or is ship in need of another ship to really relay this information, i.e. Terrapin? Again, this is general gameplay question. What do you think? How target acquisition generally works? Maybe you get a weapon, maybe not. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Does any of the 4 to 5 intakes on the top of the ship function as hydrogen fuel scoops, or would it compromise the stealth aspect of the Eclipse due to increased radar signature? Not sure if the 5th grill just above cockpit is an intake or if it is decorative only. Is he seriously asking whether the ship have 1 or 2 or 5 intakes for hydrogen? The Saber is a stealth ship too, shaped like that. It has hydrogen intakes. Pretty much all ships collect hydrogen to replenish fuel. Question answered. Everything else is irrelevant. Will I be able to purchase a large cloth to keep this current? Your question mostly. That was about the concept picture. Once proper stealth and detection mechanics are in game, at what point does CRG expect an enemy to detect the Eclipse outside of a lock range? So this is generally a gameplay stage question. How stealthy will it be, you know? That's to be discussed earlier too, you know, like how difficult will it be to lock on a missile on a Saber, for example. Please make $0 CCO for Retaliator and Aquila owners. So he wants CC, they made cross ship switch to a different ship. Always cost $5 now as a measure to prevent people from hoarding $0 cross. You know, they want to know what ships will people own. So yeah, this is a request to make an exception for that. Again, rule violation. Given that stealth is becoming somewhat important, will it be possible to outfit other ships with similar stealth capabilities, specialty, low signature, cool dark paint jobs? Yeah, I would say very likely, and if you outfit a Cutlass with stealth components, you have a big, clunky, very visible, bulky Cutlass with a somewhat lower signature. Will be ineffective. You can figure that out by yourself. But I guess he wants to know whether the components can be fit into other ships at all. And I say likely. I would bet, yes, you can. Doesn't make the most sense, maybe. Based on the stat and balancing. If you have a stealth component, it will have some other drawbacks, some other downsides, to make balancing work. And people just need to trust that CRG will do things so that they are balanced properly. Based on the stats page, in-game Retaliator loadouts, it appears the torpedo complement is similar. 3 size 9 Eclipse, 6 size 9 Retaliator. Is there anything that sets these torpedoes apart? If they are size 9, no, why would it? Check this shop page. You can buy 3 different types, lock-on types of size 9 torpedoes. Unified. Downsize torpedoes? Can we change the size of the torpedoes? Something like downsize them? The wording and it's a okay, yeah, he means mount flexibility. Will the Eclipse fit into a Polaris or interesting? Again, we had this. Does the Eclipse fit in the hangar bay of the Polaris? Same question within 1 minute. On the concept art, this guy is good, he read the rules. 3 questions, 1 question and a separate response. Proper. On the concept art, the torpedoes look a lot smaller than the size. Yeah, he wants to have clarification. They look more like size carried by the Harbinger. I think the Harbinger carries size 9. What is the operational range for the Eclipse? Short range, medium range, long range? Valid. In one of the pictures, we can see an Eclipse fire 3 torpedoes. Does this mean you can fire all 3 torpedoes simultaneously or one multiple targets? Valid question, because, do you one alpha strike and then get the hell out of there? Or do you have to fire each one and reveal your position? I would just assume you can fire 3 or at least 2 at one time, to support the ship's purpose. And of course, if all 3 are countered at one time, you have none left. So there's a reason for you to maybe not shoot all 3 at the same time. Can the Eclipse carry anything other than 3S9? Ton of regular missiles. Related again, mount flexibility. Aegis Eclipse is supposed to be a stealth bomber. These size 2 cannons may weaken it. Wait. Supposed to be a stealth bomber. These size 2 cannons may weaken it. The ship will not hold a minute in combat. It's not interesting to change them against missile racks. Now you fire missiles and then you're against firepower again. No, it makes perfect sense. The guns are for defense. That's why they are ballistic. 1 burst, high firing speed, and ballistic have some shield penetration so that limited ammo is alright for them because you won't be using them a lot but only for defense. Makes perfect sense, Everything clear to me. The concept art shows 3 torpedoes fired at once. Will this be? Yeah, again. And the brochure says the wings will adapt to space and planetary flights. And I see very few details on planetary flight mode. How will the wing configuration actually affect the flight of the Eclipse on planets? Well, it will handle a little better. Okay. In the Eclipse post, this is said, with the wheel of the Eclipse, blah, 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 new category, stealth component, blah, blah, blah. At least someone's referring to the ship stats page. To allow the Eclipse greatest specializations regard, like other categories of stealth components, A being best class. What quality of these components can be packed on the stock Eclipse? Yeah, so that's a valid question. A, B, C, D, how top quality are. Yeah, so that was it. Basically, you see what it typically looks like. Questions are accumulating. I will check now 128 replies these were, and I will update and see. And yeah. And people, 142 now, and people ask duplicate questions, and by that, if they checked whether their question already exists, they could give it an upvote, If 3 people ask the same question and no one upvotes them, that's not really, this is a bit of a game theory. You put more effort into caring about the whole system, and the reward is that it will actually benefit you and everybody else. Yeah, B2 bombers. How many replica? do you be willing to answer before it feels too ridiculous? How many replicate questions would you be willing to answer in the Eclipse Q&A before it feels so ridiculous you'd start skipping them? Also, what does Thread say about this reply? I will give this an upvote just because sometimes you have to violate the rules just to, since this. I'm happy now that I see that others feel that this is getting really ridiculous too. Yeah, again, not to make this too long, I think I have conveyed my point abundantly clearly. This is just, and it keeps happening. It's so frustrating, Sometimes it is just lazy, and it's a laziness so horrible that people really, there's a new ship, Eclipse. I might want to have it, but I have some questions. I won't read anything that is shown there. I will write question in that way. Game theory, it is a general lesson I want to convey. Make some effort. It will benefit everybody else, including yourself. These rules really make sense. And if you have something that doesn't fit those rules, then go in, I will show what to do then. Go and ask the devs or shipyard, and open a stealth. How is it rated? See, someone did it. Wants to know again, how will stealth work? This is, that's how you do it. Okay, yeah. This is all very long already. Just, sometimes not funny gameplay or anything. I just have to convey something because it has accumulated again and again, and just the what the hell, what the fuck feeling occurs every now and then. So it's a bit like, I'm a brony, and in the My Little Pony fandom, it's the same, the fandom sometimes gives me so much headache, They're too like people posting spoilers because they just don't care enough about other people and not spoiling it from them. Just, I want to know. The episode will air tomorrow, but I want to know everything about it today. That's mind's obsession. That's not healthy. Allow yourself to be pleasantly surprised. Now, Star Citizen and in general, have some faith. Observe how well the developers listen to the community, what they are doing, how well they are doing, It will all be fine, don't worry, Just, and because I'm so excited about the game, I also consult some corollary information. Not everything, I'm far from consuming everything there is with new videos and stuff, but just, observing and making conclusions based on the information you have and making, good estimates, educated guesses, as they say. Yeah, and if you want something specific, like I made Conny Phoenix my collected thoughts, Constellation Phoenix very dear to me, so I wrote all this down in the shipyard to convey this. Yeah. Okay, before I start rambling, thank you for watching this. If you've made it all to this end, kudos to you. You're an awesome watcher, hopefully subscriber. Please support me in this, and really means a lot to me that I get feedback, that I know that I'm doing this for someone. Have an interaction with people, and you can also have that to your advantage. If something is not clear to you after reading the information, if you want to have an in-depth and very thoughtful take on some topic about the game or something, write me in the comments, ask me anywhere. I might even make a video specifically about the question you have. Yeah. Thank you, and stay with me, and again, thanks for watching. Have fun. See you in a verse.